I can't remember what they're actually called, but they're just like squares, 12-inch squares, which go between the plates. So it's,
how many plates are you
you've
using?
caught me out. It's 10 plate.
Okay. I've seen varying sizes lately. There's been a guy on the American Mead Makers Association, Brian Schluter, has been posting filtration videos lately.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is sort of where we are. You've got to watch, because we're only a small batch size. You lose a certain amount. So this plate filter will probably lose maybe anywhere between 5 and 10 litres per batch on filtration.
How big is the batch?
From 180 litres.
Oh, okay.
180 litres.
Wow,
yeah.
So that's like 7% then. That's pretty significant.
Yeah. And this is probably one of the smallest plate filters you can get. And they go right up to like 2 foot square, big jobs,
Yeah.
with 20-odd plates.
That's a monster.
So it's a trade-off with what we can do and what we lose for the increase in quality.
Well,
that's part of everything.
Yeah, it's part of the deal. It's very true. How long How long does it take you from pitch to store? Until you get it in the bottle and out the door.
We generally go work on a 2-month primary fermentation, and then a 3-month secondary.
Okay.
And then they're in the bottle and out the door within about 2 to 3 weeks after that. We generally don't like to push them. Like we do, we use a modified tonsor regime. So we get a nice fermentation across the board, but we also manage to hide 15 and 16% alcohol in our products. Which is why I don't tend to rush them.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it's a hidden alcohol.
As it should be. I mean, that should be the first thing you notice.
Yeah.
Nor the last, really. It should be wait, why can't my legs work? Kind of mean. I was walking a minute ago. What happened?
So, yeah, we find there's not the need to rush it. If you plan well enough in advance to get your batches coming through, so you're turning off a batch regularly, then the 5 months it takes isn't really an issue.
That's true, yeah. If your timing is there, then it's okay. So,
yeah.
how many tanks do you have?
We currently run roughly about 20 tanks, 21 tanks.
All at 50 gallons, 180 litres.
No, they range from pilot batch tanks of about 60 litres up to the 180s.
Okay. Yeah.
With the majority being of the 180s. And we turn off a batch roughly every two weeks or so. 2 to 3 weeks.
So you've got it pretty well interleaved then. You've constantly got batches coming off the line.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of ramping up properly and being able to do it. So keeps everything flowing pretty well.
It sounds like it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you...
and all out of a 20-foot container.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
You're doing it in a container? Seriously?
Yeah. All
yeah, he's got a 20-foot refrigerated container.
Oh my God.
Refrigerated container. Our stock is in another 20-foot container, so bottles and boxes and all that sort of stuff. And then our barrels, because we run about 12 or 10 barrels, are in a shed. So
wow.
We're looking for a proper home where it can all be together, but at the moment we're across a few bits and pieces.
We're talking like a proper tin shed or a hay shed?
Well, sorry?
we talking like a proper tin shed or a hay shed? Like, has it got walls? Is it going to cook in the sun? Or
It's got walls and a roof and insulation.
Righto.
But you sort of need that. You need the temperature change for the barrels. Because if you set barrels in just like a refrigerated or a constant temperature, they're not going to do anything. You need the temperature change, which drives the liquid into and out of the wood of the barrels to pick up that vanillin and whatever else has been stored in the barrels.
Interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But that's how that works. I mean, without the temperature change, nothing moves. It'll just soak in, but won't come back out. So, best not to be too extreme. Like you only want 5 or 10 degrees change.
Yeah.
But you need the change. So, ours is probably a bit more extreme from that. Ours is probably about maybe a 20 to 25 degree change, but that's over the course of a year,
which you can double daily for Fahrenheit, guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Big change. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So
but that's part of being in country New South Wales is the heat.
Oh well, and if you learn to work with it, that's so much the better if you can take that and turn it into an asset,
Yeah.
Do you have, I noticed when I was looking at your product portfolio that you've got 11, 12 meads up so far and several more that are in the works. So do you have any core products that are there all the time and the rest rotate, or how do you do that?
So our core products are the Nectar of the Gods, which is the straight orange blossom mead, Odin's Reserve, the caramelised one, and the macadamia. So those three are core, which are always there, and the others come through as the honey and the fruits become available. We also keep our braggots there as core products through the year because they just go so well.
If the people love them, that's the thing.
Yeah. So. And then the others, we bring on new products as we get new honeys. And it all depends how much we can get as to how long they stay on the site for. Obviously.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can only get 15 or 20 kilos of honey, so it then becomes a real small batch of about a 60-litre batch, which is doable for us because we work on the small batch side. It's easier for us to do a 60-litre batch than a big company that needs to run 1,000 or 2,000 litres at a time through their machines.
Yeah. Now, there are some, you see short runs, is what we call them here, but you see short runs like that happening periodically at some mead makers, and it'll be a rare honey or just a popular thing that they only do very seldom. And those are the ones that have people lining up outside the door and down the road, and they disappear just about as fast as they can pull the spigot. And a lot of them never even make it out of the tap room. They just pour it, and they're like, "This is not going into bottles, so you'll just have to show up if you want some."
And that's where you want to be.
That's exactly what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the good side of it all. So.
Piers Hamish dropped altogether.
He's so reliable, these Australians.
I'm curious, you're talking about temperature control, and I'm just getting started, and I have very little. I've got a kitchen.
Okay.
When you were just doing small batches and home brewing, do you have any tips on how to manage fermentation do you not brew in the summer? Do you just use it to finish off batches?
The best thing I would say is find a fridge.
Oh, that's what Hamish said. I've got to buy a fridge.
That's what I got to do too, Ann. Don't feel bad. I live someplace hot and steamy. It's ridiculous.
I got to take my husband into
even just a small bar fridge will do.
Yeah.
That'll get you. A bar fridge will take, one big fermenter or 4 or 5 of the 1 gallon fermenters, and a temperature control unit. We use one from Keg King, which allows you to plug not only the fridge but also a heater into it. So for winter, you can get the temperature where you want it to be. But temperature control is really one of the biggest things that will affect your fermentation and the taste profile you get from it.
Oh, yeah. I can speak to that. Okay, Ann, you said you did Oscars, You Blues My Berries? Or the Australian variation thereof.
Exactly.
The Australian translation of Oscars, You Blues My Berries. I did his Subtle Strawberry, which is like one of my all-time favorite meads. And it was doing so well. And then we went from about 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which my house was sitting at about 68 or so. And the temperature went like overnight from, nice balmy temperatures up into the 90s and the hundreds Fahrenheit. And suddenly this thing went from gently fermenting its way along to burning through the rest of the ferment in 24 hours. So many fusels and so many off notes, and I was just in like 26 pounds of strawberries and meadow foam honey. Meadow foam, which I don't know if you're familiar with it, but that's the marshmallow fluff honey. Okay, it tastes like it tastes like liquid marshmallows, and it's like just about the most expensive honey in the United States, except maybe for macadamia. And it's very it's very uncommon. You can't get much of it. The supply is always small, regardless of how good the crop is. And so like to have some is like, yes, gonna make something really good out of this. And it just did this, and I was like, oh man. So yeah, I'm gonna get a chest freezer. I'm just gonna get a chest freezer. Right. It'll hold 2 5-gallon carboys, and I'm gonna have John rig it with the temperature control, and I'm never gonna have that problem again. I'm so tired.
Could I suggest rather than a chest?
What's that?
Go on upright.
Yeah.
Rather than a chest, go on upright freezer, because lifting 5-gallon carboys into and out of a chest freezer, you will quickly do your back.
You will ruin your back, but then you can't really fit 2 5-gallons in an upright,
Yeah, I have trouble getting them into my uprights, and I think with a simple hoist, it'd be easy to get it in and out of a chest freezer. So
yeah,
I guess it's. The chest freezer seems more practical, a little bit harder in some ways. But.
Well, look at it like Beardy Dan. Everything is a weightlifting competition. Just curl those 5 gallons up and then set them down in there really strongly, and then curl them right back up out of there when they're done. Anybody who hasn't seen a picture of Beardy Dan, the man is built like he's like Mr. Arms and Legs. He's very muscular, very muscular.
Maybe rethink what you're brewing in instead of a carboy, change to a bucket.
Well, no, I usually do buckets. I don't go to carboys until I'm in secondary and the main ferment's done, because it's too hard to work with. For me, at least, it's too hard to work with a main ferment in carboys, especially since I make a lot of melomels. Melomels and methylanes are just a big pain fishing that stuff back out of there if you have to.
Isn't it? There is also some advantage to going to an upright, because like my 70-litre bucket doesn't fit in any chest freezer known to man.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, I just
fun lifting that.
Yeah, I just bought a 12-gallon 15-gallon fermenter that I did the last batch of strawberry in, and that would not fit in a chest freezer. Now you mention it, my 5s and 6s might. 5's definitely 6. I'm not sure. I honestly would have to measure them and see. But yeah,
and getting 2 to fit's actually an effort.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, especially because the motor section has a step in it, and
true.
Even getting a chest freezer to fit all the corny kegs that I wanted to put in is a bit of an engineering exercise to make sure it'll work.
Well, you haven't MacGyvered
How many are you trying to put in?
As many as I can.
That's a silly question.
I got 6. Yeah. I got 6 in ours and on 4 taps.